Here on Voice of the People Television. This is the Sports Republic show. Welcome, our great, beautiful people of Lagos City and beyond. It's a time for us to talk about sports, but I don't know how I feel this morning because I'm just trying to be patriotic, maybe as a Nigerian, but the Super Eagles, I don't want to say the good start, well, maybe a draw would not be bad, but let's get on the top stories now. The first one I've got here is the Super Eagles faced a tough 1-1 draw against the Equatorial Guinea Elephants in their AFCON opener held in Ivory Coast on Sunday despite injuries to key players like Victor Boniface, Rufai Ndidi, Kelechi Iheanacho, and Sadiq Umaru. Nigeria led by Victor Osimhen showed confidence from the start. Now moving on in the 4th minute, that game, if you watch that game very well, you will understand we struggled a little bit. In the 4th minute, Osimhen narrowly missed a chance, taking advantage of a mistake by Equatorial Guinea goalkeeper, and that was about the ball. Stanley Nwabali also was chosen over Francis Ozoho in the goal post, and the decision made after Ozoho faced recent criticism. Now Equatorial Guinea disciplined defense surprised everybody. Nigeria in the 37th minute when Ivan Salvador, who plays for the Polish side, second tier, skillfully found the back of the net, beating Nwabali. However, the Super Eagles quickly responded with Alexa Iwobi assisting Osimhen to level the score. The second half of the game began with a mixed opportunity where we did see the Super Eagles struggling in that very one missed opportunity for Nigeria as Victor Osimhen and Lukman Ademola interfered with each other. Despite sustained pressure, Equatorial Guinea goalkeeper Owano Jesus displayed historical save, and also in the 76th minute, that one got me laughing. Osimhen missed a crucial chance to take the lead, pulling a right-footed shot wide of the near post. The Elephants maintained their solid defense, securing a vital draw against the 2013 champions. It gives me the edge to say about this again. The Nations Cup has really seen big names struggle a little bit. The likes of Egyptian side yesterday against Mozambique, who have played 13 African Cup of Nations games and then losing 10 of them and getting a draw in 3 of them. But take it back to Nigeria Super Eagles. Maybe not much to say for now, but I've got him out with me on the show. We'll be doing this together. Then later on we'll get to correspond. We'll be linking up with our correspondent right in Ivory Coast, Abidjan, to talk more. Now, you're welcome. How are you today?
Good morning, Kizzy. Good morning, Lagos. It's so good to be here again.
You have that smile in the face like we drew. Are you happy about that?
Well, I think I will say, not that I'm happy that we didn't win the game, but I will say I'm actually happy that we actually have a team that, or a crop of players, rather, that can actually, respond, when necessary, and of course give us a result, even though I actually didn't see the coach tactics at play at all.
Why?
Like I said, you see, the last time we were having a conversation about this Super Eagles, I was talking about, we having this crop of players. But of course, the team itself, there's no synergy. If you really look at the team, the transition play, the defense and the midfield, there's actually no link up. And of course, the midfield, Alex Iwobi was just the only man who was responsible with who was given the responsibility to be the creative player there. And Nigeria really don't play like that. I really don't know why the coach actually had to opt for 2 defensive. I really don't understand that.
Okay, so we talk about Pesero. I think there's something about Pesero which everybody needs to understand. I know a lot of people are beginning to say Pesero is not the right man for the job, and oftentimes we don't want to talk about that because after all is said and done, more you could say said and done. Now, Pesero is the man who we've seen struggle a little bit about his gameplay, but there's something he did yesterday, and I feel like he's trying to get better. The likes of Stanley Nwabali getting the start in the national team was okay. Because not long we saw the federal government as well. It was funny to see the government being involved in that side, where Ozoho has been a man on the post for the Super Eagles. But I love what I saw yesterday, EK. I love the fact that I saw this man, Al Hassan Yusuf, making his debut, and he played so well.
Hassan Yusuf actually did very well. And I think he would have done better if he was the only man in the middle of the park, like sitting as the pivot. I would have preferred we had 2 creative midfielders. Let's be very honest with ourselves, right? Alex Iwobi is a creative midfielder, but we cannot say Alex Iwobi is one of those top creative midfielders out there. I would say Alex Iwobi is more like a 4/10 creative midfielder, and then you have only him doing the job for the team. So we needed somebody else to actually put more pressure on those, to help break down the Equatorial. Yes, not forgetting we actually missed a lot of chances. You know, would have won that game, put that game to the but that's exactly the pressure that comes with, you know, the first game of the tournament. So these things happen all the time, and sometimes you might not get your first game right. Egypt didn't get their first game right at last Nations Cup. They lost to us 1-0, but they got to the final. Nigeria also didn't get our first 2 games right in 2013 when we became champions. We played
we just hoping
draws, and
that was against Zambia 1-1. This one says Super Eagles deserve more than a draw against Equatorial Guinea, and that's from Joseph Pesera. But I gave you that word. I made you understand. We'll be connected live to Ivory Coast. Our correspondent, Joseph Atere, will be having a chit chat with us. Let us know possibly Nigerians how it's going to be going on the show. His name again is Jerry Atere. We'll talk about that now. So the game yesterday for you.
Well, see, one thing about a football game like this, I mean, if you've played the game to a certain level before, you understand that before players go into the field, what happens before they step into the field, you know, contributes to their output, right? Now, the mood of the players, I mean, it's so good to be listening to Atere, you know, to know the mood of the players before the game. Then so we get to understand, you know, how they were able to actually fit in and do what they actually did. If we, at the end of the day, we're going to press them, you know, and say, okay, guys, you guys did well, you know, in spite of all of the things the pressure and all of that, or you guys should have done better.
Okay, all right. So let's quickly connect live with Joseph Atere on the show this morning. Joseph, how are you doing? Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. I'm very well. Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm very well. Good morning. I can hear you. Good morning.
It's great to have you join us on the show quickly this morning. Let's do a talk now. What's it like in camp?
Well, of course, I'm in camp right now. I feel the guys are disappointed with what happened yesterday. They believe they should have gotten a win from that game. And, of course, you want to blame some of the attackers. They should have taken their chances, but failed to do that. But, you know, in as much as we are blaming this team, nobody's talking about the weather. I am live in Ivory Coast, and I'm telling you, sometimes we go as much as 38, 39 degrees.
Wow.
Even in Lagos, we are 32, and we complain. It is no surprise that teams like Egypt, Ghana, Nigeria are suffering. You know why? Because I'm still trying to understand why CAF will fix a game for 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. under the scorching sun. So you see teams like Mozambique, you see teams like Cape Verde, you see teams like Equatorial Guinea. They brought players who play in their league, who are used to that hard life, who are used to playing under hot sun. We're talking about teams that are brought in players from Europe, players who play under +6, +7, sometimes extreme -1, to come play under 2 p.m. They will give their best because they want to be patriotic. But sometimes it makes sense. It makes no sense further. And that is why sometimes I query the hierarchy at CAF. It is something we, even as journalists, have been complaining about. I cannot, it's like they say you should sleep inside a room that is hot overnight. How do you want to survive? You're playing by 2 p.m., 4 p.m. What happened to 6? What happened to 8?
Okay, so...
and this is what the Ghanaians are also complaining.
Joseph, I really understand how you feel about that being in Abidjan. Of course, you need to let us know. But we talk about the Super Eagles a little bit. But now, looking at the game, the way it's been for the first leg, it looked like some of the, you know, big teams, like of the Egyptian 7-time major winners, Nigerian Super Eagles, to say in quotes, struggled a little bit in the first half. I mean, in the first leg. What's going on about that?
That's what I'm saying. It's easier said than done. You know, they should have won on papers the permutations. Cape Verde to Egypt to those. I mean, it was Egyptian. But I feel like, see, don't take the shine away from those small teams. They have done their job. But I am saying that the weather is contributing a huge. Negatively, rather, contributing a huge part to what is happening to the big ones, and there is still more to come.
Okay,
there is more to come because the huge upset you witnessed at the African Cup of Nations this year will be alarming.
Okay, so let's take it back to the national team camp, which is our priority. The Super Eagles now, quickly. What's it like after that draw? What does it look like in camp? I mean, are they looking depressed, or are they motivated with the draw? Playing against the second fatal side, Equatorial Guinea.
All right, so they'll be having a training this evening by 4, which will be attending. Okay. Maybe Jay will be able to speak to them. But after the match yesterday at the mixed zone, we spoke to a lot of players, and some wouldn't speak to us, some were angry. They were disappointed.
Right.
They said they should have won, and they're promising Nigerians that it will be better against Ivory Coast.
Okay, so our next game now, Thursday, what's the hope? What's the faith for Super Eagles?
They have to win. They have to win that game, because anything short of a win, they will need to bring out our calculators again. But the good news this time is that you have teams that will qualify as best losers.
Right.
But for a team like Nigeria, we shouldn't be thinking of that. We should be qualifying as first or second. The Ivorians right now, they're at home. They have the 12th man. They need a point, and they get that morale booster going to the last game, and they qualify as first. And the problem again, if we don't finish as first, we have to leave Abidjan.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Right. Okay, so Joseph, are you there with me? Hello?
I'm with you, yeah.
Now, the Super Eagles game played yesterday, we struggled a little bit. We weren't clinical in front of goals. Looking at the way they played, the likes of, Iwobi and Moses Simon, the last 30 minutes, or the first 30 minutes, better word, we felt they should have got into the play. But then the manager, Pesaro, insisted and left Iwobi, which was okay for me because he was the only schemer in that very side. But we talk about all of those things. But quickly, let's talk about what man who made his debut yesterday. Now, Al Hassan Yusuf, his gameplay, what would you say, the Royal Antwerp midfielder? How did you go into the game? No pressure?
All right, so, I was speaking to somebody, the difference between Asante Kazola and N'Golo Kante. These guys are midfielders, but, one is more creative.
Okay.
And I'm saying that, Al Hassan is good, is very good, but we still miss a Wilfred Ndidi.
Definitely.
Al Hassan plays beautiful football. But those guys, the guy that would do those dirty jobs are not there. Wilfred Ndidi, if he was in that game, maybe they wouldn't have scored Nigeria. You need to do those dirty tackles.
Right.
We didn't see that from the Nigerian squad. How many of them got a yellow card? Al-Hassan is good. He'll be good when he has a proper number 4.
I understand what you're saying, but don't forget, this man just made his mark. He made his debut with his first game in the national team, and he's not been here before. The first appearance, would you want to rate him over 10? What would you give him?
I would give him an 8, honestly, because he's a good player, as I said. But we would have had, if we rather had an NDD, it would have been better. But then pack all the blame, pack it and put on that man that I don't understand how he made his way to the national team. Jose Pesero, how is the coach of 3 times African champions? How is the coach of one of the best countries in Africa? I mean, sometimes, when you watch some coaches, when they perform, because you are tired, you just keep quiet. Right. Yesterday, I was telling someone inside the box that I really feel for these guys. They don't deserve that yellow man that Yesu Pesero they call coach. That's at the helm of affairs, because I still don't understand how you use a 4-3-3 formation for 90 minutes and you wanted to make changes, yeah?
I understand what you're saying, but I would love you watch your words. I mean, we're not he's our manager, whichever way you want to say it, and don't use the color word. We're not we are not racist, right? Please. So okay. So talk about
apologies for that. But what I'm trying to say is that it is painful. You need to see the mood inside the stadium. You need to see how Nigerians left that stadium in pain. How their variants in their numbers that came to support us left that stadium in pain. What I'm trying to say in a nutshell is that how do you, as a proper manager, use a 4-3-3 formation from start to end? So you wanted to make substitutions, took out your 11 and 7, brought in another 11 and 7. Does it make sense?
Okay, so quickly let us know about Al Hassan Yusuf. He got a knock, he got off of the game. Some rumors, according to reports, say he's injured. I mean, how deep is this? Is it
we spoke to him after the game yesterday.
Right.
We spoke to him after the game yesterday, and he said he's not injured. He only had cramps, so he'll be available for the next game.
Okay, so let me quickly come on what you just said the last time. You talked about Pesero and the style of play. Everybody knows, I understand, they say it's archive, it's CV, it's not attractive, it's not friendly, but then he's our manager, whichever way you want to say it. Now, I also wanted to understand something. He played a 4-3-3 yesterday, and if I want to fault Pesero, I would fault him that when the game wasn't okay, like the second half, maybe, as a team that needs to go the better side on paper and on the field, he should have switched possibly to a 3-5-2 or play a 4-4-2, better word. But Joseph, be sincere with me now. That game yesterday, do you think the blame should be on the manager or the players? Because they, for me, weren't clinical. We saw Sanusi Seidu missing a lot of chances in the opposite box. He's not confident. We saw Samuel Chukwueze, who on the regular, we see him play in the Champions League, scored against Madrid in La Liga last other time. And he had to go with Oseni. Oseni also, the big fish himself, missed a couple of chances. Do you think we should put blame on the manager? Players
miss chances, but it's the duty of the coach to identify these things and make changes as soon as possible.
Okay.
What I'm telling you in a nutshell, Iwobi played for 10 minutes in that game. Iwobi wasn't supposed to be on that pitch at the 65th minute. He gassed out, you can see it. He was only playing because he had to play. Take him out. There are some passes. It was the normal traditional way, of taking to the flanks, try to cross it. No. You needed somebody in that midfield. I would have expected Kelechi coming in.
Okay.
You could see Victor Oshimen's movement.
Right.
Throw those passes in between. See what those guys were doing. You needed somebody. So Alex Iwobi staying for 90 minutes was a waste.
Hello. What did you say, Jerry?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, Joseph, what did you say?
I said Alex Iwobi staying for 90 minutes on that pitch was a mistake. Yes, they lost some chances, but then if you had made those changes earlier, I mean, taking out Alex Iwobi was a mistake. Those passes were no longer coming. In my own opinion, he played for only 10 minutes. Go back to watch that game. You'll see that you should blame the coach.
Okay, quickly, let's talk about the goalkeeping side of the department. You know, Pesaro at some point, everybody knows, even the government and the country, right, got involved in this, and they said, you can't continue playing one man Ozawa in the goalpost, and it's just what it is. So yesterday we did see the Chivas United goalkeeper, Stanley Nwabali, get into the game. For me, I wouldn't want to say it was much tested, right, but that decision for Pesaro, do you think it was okay?
Yeah, of course. I kudos to him for that, bringing in Nwabali. I mean, from his body language, you know the guy is well confident. He is ready for the job. I forget the goal he considered in that game. Anybody would have done that, but
Right.
I feel like he's the way he comports himself is okay. So I would give him a nod to go for the next game. Francis Uzor needs to sit on the bench and understand that. I mean, no one can be at a position for life.
So a lot of people said something about the midfield, the way we played. It wasn't like a double pivot, but if you see it on paper or possibly on your screen, you might feel it's like a like a double midfield, like a pivot. But we saw Frank Onyeka, the Brentford man, sitting deep. Then Yusuf was making the runs in between, like box-to-box player. Then we expected, you know, Alex Iwobi to come to the middle of the park, get the ball, make some drive. He struggled a little bit on the game. We saw Oseni returning so deep. Now, that starts for you. Would you say you expect the Pesaro to go with same formation, or give the likes of Samuel Chukwueze a start, and maybe Lookman on the bench? I'm just saying.
I think, like, to be honest with you,
Right.
Samuel Chukwueze, Ademola Lookman, sometimes maybe because they play in different clubs,
Okay.
they play more like the same type of football.
All right.
To me, so it'd be difficult to say who do you start. But honestly, if I was the coach, I would pick a Samuel Chukwueze because you see the way Samuel Chukwueze drives the ball. He has the ability to take on two players at the same time and take them inside the box. That is one thing Lookman doesn't have. Lookman likes to cut corners, and sometimes he ends up being fouled or something, which is time wasting for me. But Samuel Chukwueze gets that. He has that extra touch, that ability to take two players at the same time until they get inside the box. So that's the only difference. But aside that, they look like the same player for me.
Okay, so quickly before I let you go, right there in Ivory Coast, last one, you know, Joseph, I want to ask this question again. Are you optimistic? Do you think we have what it takes? Do you think we have the depth to get our result against Ivory Coast regarding them being the host country?
See, I've watched these guys. I've watched them at training. I've watched these guys play. Even before they played the first game, I've seen the way they support their fans, the way they come out in number.
Right.
Even when they lose the ball, those guys will help them win that game. I want to be patriotic by saying I hope Nigeria wins that game or at least get a point. But to be honest with you, we'll be beating 3-1.
We will be beating 3-1. Is that what you said?
I'm being honest with you. No need to deceive our listeners.
I'm going to hold you on that, Joseph. But thank you so much for staying around. We'll get a connected
Thank
game,
you.
hopefully tomorrow or Thursday, possibly. Thank you so much. All right,
Thank
still
you.
safe, man. Safe. You're still right watching Sports Republic right here on Voice of the People Television. And that was the voice of Joseph Ateri, our correspondent right there in Ivory Coast. He will be giving us all we need to know about AFCON. But his last words for me doesn't look friendly. He said 3-1. Ivory Coast get the result against the Super Eagles. But then we're going on a quick break, just a quick one. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly. Why is it that thing? welcome back from that quick break. You're still on right here on Sports Republic. My name is Kizike. It's great to have you again with me. But AK, before we go on some of the results of the AFCON games played, let me get your take on for everything he said. Like, you have to summarize it. What would you say about our correspondent Joseph?
I mean, it felt like he was actually reading my mind.
Really?
Yes. Before.
Why? How?
Before he called. You know, I was telling you before he called that a lot of what happened before the game, contribute to the outputs of the players.
Okay.
And now here he was talking about the temperature and all of that. Yes, and that's a very big factor. You saw them going out for water break on a couple of occasions during the game. So yes, it actually affected them. And you cannot expect players, like he said, players who play in a very cold environment to come under the scorching sun over 39 degrees and to give their very best. It's very difficult to really adapt. But of course, like I said, the very first game is one of those things you experience: the weather, the pitch conditions, and all of that. Then now they'll be used to it. Going to the next game, they'll definitely give their best. But of course, against the host, it's very difficult. I was talking about this last week,
right,
that playing against a host nation, India, country in Africa or anywhere in the world, can be very, very difficult.
Okay, so we've seen a lot of countries struggle in the Nations Cup. The likes of Egypt, 7-time major champions, we feel like they have all it takes. They did not do well against the Mozambique side. But let's get on the games that will play today. We'll see the early hours of today's Senegal, the defending champion, will be playing against Gambia. What's your take on that game?
Of course, it's expected. I mean,
I don't know what's expected.
It's expected that Senegal should win. That's the expectation,
on paper,
on paper. But of course, like we've seen so far, giant killers, it seems like teams that are expected to win struggle.
Okay.
So perhaps if Senegal end up struggling today, I'm not really going to be so
that game comes your way, 3 p.m. Senegal will play against the Gambian side. Don't forget, the Gambians almost lost their life in that struggle, the airplane and the rest of that. But we could say thank God for life that they are back to play today. And also another game that will be coming up will be Cameroon today, and Cameroon will trade in tackle with Guinea. What's your take on that? Don't forget, Vincent Abubakar would not be involved in this very much game, and it will be very tough one for me, in my opinion.
It's a very big miss for them. I mean, that guy is like an inspiration.
Right.
He's the Eto and Mboma of this generation. But of course, he's not there, and they have to make do what they have. As this is Cameroon, they're still very strong.
Right.
They're still a very, very strong side. I mean, the Mboma Brentford.
Yeah, but he's not involved.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they've got quality.
Bremo.
Yes, they've got quality players, and I still expect them to actually do what they have to do. I mean, they are superior to the Gambians on paper,
right,
so I expect them to actually.
Okay, so that game is the Cameroonian side, but I'll quickly let you know this one. Andre Onana has boarded the flight already. We saw that 4-goal thriller where Tottenham Hotspur with the likes of Bentancur, I love the goal, but Rasmus Højlund, Marcus Rashford, all of these guys found in the back of the net yesterday. That very much game ended 2-2. That man made a move and he'll be returning back. Andre Onana, Cameroon side, also involved.
I'm so disappointed he's involved.
So disappointed.
Yes, I'm so disappointed. Why would they allow him come when the Nations Cup is already on? I mean, like, why?
So you think he should be
it's a disrespect to the Nations Cup itself.
Okay, let's go to the next game.
I think CAF needs to actually step in on this, because if the nation itself cannot do something, I think CAF needs to start sanctioning this.
So we have the 2019 winners, Algeria today, playing against the likes of Angola. That would be a very big game because we don't have winners anymore in the game. Don't forget the likes of Slimani, Riyad Mahrez. On paper, you would say they get the result.
Of course, I expect them to get a result, but of course, nothing is at this point.
Why are you saying nothing is easy?
Yes, because I mean we've seen the big guns.
Right.
They struggled. Nigeria, Egypt, Ghana. We've seen them, right? So I mean, these ones too. What's the difference? I mean, on paper, the teams that Nigeria played, the teams that Egypt played, and the team that Ghana played is actually smaller on paper compared to these ones that are coming up against this one.
Let's take it back to the national team, Nigeria. What are your expectations on the next game on Thursday? Where we'll play against the Ivorians, knowing fully well that this side are the host country.
It's a very difficult one.
Can we get the result?
I'm hoping we'll get a result.
You're being optimistic.
But the problem is this, right? If you look at our game against Cote d'Ivoire, it has never been easy.
Oh, okay.
We don't really get good results against them.
So is it going to pay off this time?
They are home.
Do you really think
they are home? They are home. I know how difficult it is. I mean, most of our players are foreign based.
Right.
These guys are playing in their own.
Right, but they have some foreign players among them as well. In the League One, like of Kessie as well in the Saudi.
See, you can't compare. Nigerian players are foreign based.
Yeah, we have more foreign based.
Let's say all Nigerian players are foreign based.
Players,
let's even say all of them.
You can't say all.
No, I'm just giving.
I know. Just use the word majority.
Yes. No, I'm not talking about this team now. I'm giving a case now.
Course, right.
Yes, I said let's say all of them are foreign based, right? Now, and Nigeria is a host nation. The weather will not impact on them. It's just they just feel just a week training and they'll acclimatize it.
You talk about the weather. You know, Joseph Atere, our correspondent right there, talked about the weather, and I know this works. If you play the game well, you will understand. But then I still don't believe that's a reason, a better word, a yardstick for us not to get that result yesterday. Victor Osimhen, for me, disappointed the Nigerians. Everybody felt like he should have converted. He should have put us up ahead of time, you know. But let's just say it's not the first time we've seen that. In 2013 against Zambia, we played a 1-1 in that very game.
Owono, the goalkeeper of
Jesus Owono.
Yes, the goalkeeper of Equatorial Guinea, the guy was fantastic. And that's one thing I keep saying. Sometimes when we look at chances missed, we have to look at those chances missed if it's a goalkeeper's job, like a goalkeeper, the goalkeeper being fantastic, or the player actually not knowing where to put the ball. In this case, we can say these guys put the ball in the right position, but the goalkeeper was good. I mean, we don't expect any ball that comes in face of a goalkeeper to go,
quickly now,
go into the net.
Let's take it to the Premier League and let you know some of the games, some of the magic we did see. Kevin De Bruyne at the KDB, they call him. He's one man. Everybody knows you can't take away anything from this great player whenever he's on this A game. De Bruyne has changed. Coming from the bench within a short period of time and getting the result. What's your take on that?
I mean, you remember while we were talking about that game, we were live on set. And I said that Manchester City are 2-1 behind. But we've seen them come back a couple of times from the dead. And Pep Guardiola did a very simple change. Oscar Bob and Kevin De Bruyne.
Do you see them winning the treble?
The treble.
You got you thinking, okay, let's go on Chelsea now. Are they back to winning ways?
Chelsea.
The result, yes, Saturday, 1-0.
Yeah, see, that Chelsea side, like I said before, the only consistent thing about them is their injury. If the injury can stop, I see that Chelsea side doing very well this season. Okay, so many matches played in the Premier League, but we just might not give you all of them, but the results are actually out there. Let's talk about the very big game yesterday. 2-2, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur, well-expected draw. United at home under Ten Hag. I think this Tottenham side, right? This Tottenham side, they played very good football. But they've really not changed for me, right? Man United know how to play Tottenham. Any day, anytime. So why did they get the result yesterday? United side is not good. They're not good. No. So what's not good about it? The manager? Everything. See, the manager, the quality of players. These are not the kind of quality of players Manchester United is known for. Right? Manchester United usually, just like the way Manchester City is today, those are the kind of quality of players that we usually have in our team. I'm a Man U fan, I have to say, in our team. But the thing is that Manchester United today is not really the Manchester United in the days. I mean, look at this Manchester United setup. How many of the Manchester United first team players can actually fit into those teams in the top 4? Okay, so that's a very big game. Well, that was a very big game play yesterday, and I would not say, but maybe just maybe Rasmus Højlund, the Danish international player, maybe I could say he's back in scoring form again. Alejandro Garnacho. A lot of players impressed me yesterday. The likes of Rodrigo, the Bentancur in the middle of the park. I love to see not missing that Papi Malasar, and also Ange Postecoglou has been amazing. With this young set of players, the likes of Van der Ven, Romero, we've been seeing them doing so well. But let's talk about that match that was played in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. You call it a Clasico, you would not be wrong to say that. Real Madrid, Vinicius Junior back in a hat-trick and taking the ball home against a big side, the FC Barcelona. What happened yesterday? King Carlo. Carlo Ancelotti just showed one thing. Class. Right. Xavi can do all he wants to do, keep the ball and do whatever it is he wants to do, dance in the middle of the park. But this is top-notch tactics. He dismantled the Barcelona side with just simple tactics. Rodrigo run, Vinicius finish. That's exactly what they did. And Real Madrid understand they have the quality of players who also soak up pressure, the quality of players who handle the ball, and it was so easy for them. Barcelona really they really didn't understand what they were doing. Right. They just kept passing the ball. Okay, talk about Real Madrid now. Girona got a draw into La Liga. Madrid will play the next game against Almeria. Looking at the style of play, Carlo Ancelotti
and the Jude Bellingham transition, Brahim Diaz, amazing player. Do you see Madrid are clinching on the trophy? Can we be quick to say now?
I can say for now, right? Yes, Real Madrid can actually win the trophy.
They can.
Barcelona is losing it already.
Girona,
the problem Girona will have is the experience.
Oh, okay.
At this level,
make top four.
yeah, at this level, there's certain pressure that comes if you are top. It happened to Arsenal last season. The pressure comes if you're not a champion, if you don't know how to win trophy before. As a manager, as players, it's definitely going to rub off on you at that point.
Okay, so you have the man, okay, he's definitely going to rub off on you at that point, and he gives a whole lot of credit to Carlo Ancelotti. Okay, trust me, it's been nice having you on the show.
Thank you very much
maybe
for having me.
Not a bigger time, but then hopefully we got to bring you again after Thursday. What expectation that game? Results, can you predict now? Nigeria, Ivory Coast?
I'll go with the result of Joseph.
3-1.
3-1.
Okay, let's get your sign off quickly.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
Good morning,
man.
Lagos.
You heard that man, Ike, saying it's a 3-1. I'm not going to join them to say that. But please be patriotic. Believe in Nigeria. Believe in your country. They say, believe in Nigeria. Do we have what it takes? Are we really the Super Eagles? Time will tell. Joseph Pesero happens to be the manager of that side, and that game will come your way on Thursday. Please, I beg, don't miss that game on every of the AFCON games. It's our own very much tournament. I need to go now, but don't forget, I'll be back on your TV screen tomorrow, right here, same time on the Sports Republic. But then we've got more interesting programs coming your way. You don't want to change it. Stay here. My name is Kizzy K. Good morning, Lagos. I'm out.